Okay, thank you. Thank you, Manolo. Thank you to all. It's a very big pleasure to be here. I would like, first of all, introduce myself. My name is Pierangela Angelini. I'm a researcher of the Italian National Institute for Environmental Protection and Research. And inside the institute, I operate within the Department for Biodiversity Monitoring. My professional experience is in habitat mapping, habitat assessment, and habitat management. Since 2012, I coordinated national reporting activities on habitat, and this was for the third and the fourth national reports under Habitat Directive. Habitat Directive, which is the milestone for nature conservation in Europe. And during this period, I also participated to the working group established by the European Commission for the review of the guideline for reporting, guideline for member states. And I coordinate the publication of the first national guideline on habitat monitoring. This was in 2016. And for the participation to the NI project, the specific role of our institute, we will see tomorrow in a specific presentation. But now let me introduce the team organized inside our institute to follow the project. I am the team coordinator and the contact point for this project. Then there is Laura Casella. She will follow all scientific issues for the project. Then there is Rosanna Ugello. She will follow communication issues. Then we have Andrea Fabbri and Antonella Ceccarelli that will follow administrative and financial issues. At the end of this year, we are planning for a research grant and to increase our team for following the project. Now I would like to give the floor to my colleague Laura Casella. She is one of the Italian representatives in Biodiversity National Reference Center for EIONET. EIONET is the official European network for environmental information. And she will illustrate our institute vision, activities, and tasks. Please, Laura.
Thank you, Pierangela. Good afternoon to colleagues, public, if there are any, or there will be. Let's start with our vision. It is intended to underline the connection between environment protection and human well-being. And then who we are. Ispra is the National Institute for Environmental Protection and Research. It's a body with technical, public body, with technical scientific independence, operating as an autonomous organization. In this framework, we respond to obligations set by national laws and receive general guidance from the Ministry for Ecological Transition. The Institute represents a peculiarity at EU level since it works with an operational mandate, so as an environmental agency, but acts within a research legal framework as a knowledge center. We rely on these values to complete our activities, that are authoritativeness, reliability, and transparency. We act as the reference technical scientific body for environmental protection research at the service of citizens, institutions, and companies. Some of our strengths are, first of all, people. We are more than 1,200 people, about 800 researchers and technicians. We are spread among 8 sites around Italy, and we have our headquarters here in Rome. The other strength is the full environmental spectrum. Our responsibility covers from environmental knowledge to monitoring, assessment, control, and prevention. On environmental issues, we provide technical and scientific advice to Italian government for national and international initiatives. As an agency, activities on environmental protection rely on the network of regional agencies. We can go a little. Okay, that's the right one. Thank you. We rely on a network of regional agencies and a huge number of operators. Here you can find these numbers on this activity of the Institute. As to the research activity, is mainly applied research. The Institute carries out research activities for application purposes and aimed at monitoring the environment and the territory. And we have an increasingly consistent use of tools provided by new technologies such as Earth observation, and in particular those provided by the Copernicus program, because it can significantly contribute to the knowledge of territorial transformation process that we study, offering elements to support environmental policies. Now a quick glance on some of the activities. The organization of the Institute reflects the tasks that we are called to act on. It's a great variety, from environmental assessment, control, and sustainability. We host the National Center for the National Laboratories Network, the National Center for the Waste Cycle, matter about coastal zone protection and operational oceanography, and again, the National Center for Environmental Crisis, Emergencies and Damage, the Geological Survey of Italy, the National Environmental Information System, the National Statistics System, communication with institutions, companies, citizens, events and dissemination, including the National Center for Environmental Education Training, and also library and museum networks. And last, but only for narrative needs, our Department for Environmental Protection and Monitoring and Biodiversity Conservation. We have expertise on monitoring, reporting, and data collection related to terrestrial and marine species and habitats, protected areas, environmental directives on emissions, water and air quality. We provide data and expertise on UNIS classification, CDDA, nature directives, water framework directives, and many others. Details on this activity will be introduced tomorrow, but it is worth to say here that we are involved in the data collection and processing for the implementation of the Habitats Directive. That is in the policy framework intercept other legally binding initiatives, so it is clear that data from its implementation can affect the full implementation of other pan-European policies. I just indicate some examples of these connections here. In the Habitats Directive, monitoring parameters are shared at EU level, so that data coming from this monitoring activity can be aggregated and upscaled from country to biogeographical level. As to habitat types, if we focus on 3 of the parameters required for the assessment, that are mainly area and distribution, we can perceive the need to record a huge amount of scientific sound data in the field, and the importance of integrating artificial intelligence and automated tools for habitat detection, including remote and proximal data. We are responsible to elaborate and publish guidelines and manuals to operate on this topic, but our role as a research institute is also to investigate on new tools and approaches through experimentation and validation. I only cite here a research on the integration of Earth observation data and field data for habitat monitoring that is carried out by our institute, funded by the National Special Agency, showing just an example of forest habitat mapping using supervised machine learning model. through the integration of big data and innovative machine learning approaches for calculation, scenario maps are obtained that allow a scientifically solid and timely analysis of the changes taking place for terrestrial biodiversity, and this allows targeted and effective interventions for its protection and management. This part on ground truth is really relevant here, since data from this project could constitute a new set of response variables. Many of the parameters required for the assessment of changes in time and space in habitat quality can certainly benefit from this integration of information from unsupervised and semi-unsupervised procedures. A few words now on our international framework. We take part to many international initiatives on environmental protection and control, both as an agency and as a research institute. We are very active in European partnership and research projects. In the EEA, Ispra represents Italy in the unit with NFP and NRC representatives, not only me in biodiversity, but also in the other NRCs thematics. We also represent the ministry and Italy in different EU working groups, such as the European Commission Working Group on Forest and Nature, that is a sub-working group of the CCBN that is responsible to taking advice on the European New Forest Strategy. Ispra also contributes to the European developments of compliance assurance by participating in planning activities of uptake of geointelligence services in the Copernicus area, the FPCAP program against environmental crimes. So it was only a short introduction due to the time allocated, but here you can find our addresses and social contacts, where we publish daily news about environment and biodiversity, where our activities and products are available for the public. And thank you.